Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started. We are so excited to welcome our juniors and seniors who signed up for our University of Michigan presentation today. We are really, really fortunate. At Troy High School, we don't just have an admissions officer. We have the privilege, the fortune of having Ms. Kim Bryant as the Assistant Director of the University of Michigan Admissions to be here as our college rep. So some of you might not know this, but there are actual real-life human beings who read your applications for college. And we have one of them right here. So you definitely want to be the student that she wants to admit to the University of Michigan as an audience participant today. So please make sure that we are being respectful, that we have phones away unless you're writing down a quick note about something really important that she's saying. Ms. Bryant has been admitting Troy High students to the University of Michigan for 28 years now. So she loves our school, she knows our students, she knows our classes, she knows the amazing things that you're capable of and that you've been doing. And now she's excited to share with you information about campus, programs, your application, and just admissions in general. So please give her a warm welcome.
Thank you to Mrs. Friend and all of the counselors here. As she said, I have been coming here. I used to live in Troy for 6 years, back in the early 90s, and passed my apartment complex on the way here. So always great to come home. And I really have a great place in my heart for Troy, and I come over here quite a lot. So you'll hear throughout my presentation some different times where I've been here near your school. So I am really, really excited. Those of you, I'm sorry, we have a new president. We're really excited to have our new president, Dr. Santa Ono, join us on October 12th at the University of Michigan. And we had to halt printing of a lot of our publications because we have to have his name on all of our new stuff. So I'm sorry that not all of you were able to get a publication today. However, our website is current, so if you access our website, you can see anything on there. Anybody who did get a publication, I do want to draw your attention to page 3. Can everybody open to page 3? All right, you see Jessie Lee on there? Jessie Lee is a Troy High alumnus. Yay! And she's on our publication, so yay, that could be you one day, and I hope that it is. So keep that in mind. So pretty exciting. I did want to share with you as we start that Troy High is our number 3 in terms of feeder schools at the University of Michigan. Last year we received 293 applications from the senior class here at Troy High School alone. Out of those, we admitted 112 students, and 83 of them decided to join us in Ann Arbor and are currently first-year students on our campus. So the year before, Troy High was our number 1 feeder school, which is really exciting. So always we'll have a place there for our students here from Troy. We're excited. Today, I have with me Anjali. Can you wave? All right, Anjali is one of our admissions counselors, and Gaston, also one of our admissions counselors. At the end of today, both of them will join me on stage and answer questions, individualized questions, before you need to get back to class if you have an interest. Those of you, I see a few right there. If you have a Michigan shirt on, a couple of you over here, yes. So please join us actually afterwards on stage so we can get a group picture if you have a Michigan shirt on today. I know Mrs. Allgaier wore hers, so yay, go blue. We appreciate that. All right. So today I want to ask a couple questions to kick it off here. So how many of you are seniors? All right, great. And how many juniors? Okay, so the seniors, let's see your hands again. How many of you have started your common application? Okay, watch this, you guys. Ready? Anjali and Gaston? All right, keep them up. How many of you have hit the send button? There we go. Okay, yes, yes. All right. What is your name? Leland. All right, good job. I'm excited to see your application. So I have not started reading your applications yet, but today I'm hoping to have the rest of you that had your hands up initially to keep those up and hit that send button and be ready, okay? We're gonna help you with some of those little things that you might be nervous about in order to get you to hit that submit button, and we'll get you on your way so I can start reading your files here in a couple weeks. So we haven't started reading yet. We are visiting high schools right now. I'm doing some out-of-state travel in about 11 days. I think I head out for my out-of-state visits, so I won't be around for that whole week, and then I'll be back and then probably start digging in as I start to see them. So excited to start reviewing your applications this year. It's a lot of fun to really put a name and face with the application when I start looking at those. So when you apply to Michigan, you can apply to a specific college or school. Literature, Science, and the Arts is our largest school. Then we have our College of Engineering. How many of you are interested in engineering? Okay, great. You love math? Yes, and you have AP Calculus, AP Physics, AP Chemistry, right? Okay, good. Most competitive students do show that on their transcripts and do well in those courses. They're applying to our College of Engineering. Okay, so let me see who's interested in LS&A. Okay, fabulous. All right, anybody interested in pursuing the School of Nursing? Yes, okay. Do you do anything nursing related?
I volunteer at Red Cross.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, so make sure when you're filling out your application, are you a senior? Oh, okay, so you have time. Okay, just seniors, if you're filling out your application, don't say, I plan to volunteer or I'm going to start doing that. We don't want to see that on the application. I want to see things that you have done already. Okay, you can always add that later, but start thinking about that. So those of you that are juniors, great time to start thinking about things that you're interested in. I have a junior at my house as well, so I totally understand that. All right, anybody interested in kinesiology? Okay, which area?
The sports medicine area.
Okay, sports medicine, good. You shadow? Okay, great. Okay, perfect. Okay, so those are, the nursing school and kinesiology are both kind of demonstrated interests, so you definitely need to talk about that throughout your application. Give us some examples of things that you've done that are related to that major. That would be helpful, okay? So then we have our talent-based majors. So the Stamp School of Art and Design, anybody interested in that? Anybody interested in the Taubman School of Architecture and Urban Planning? Okay, great. Okay, they're going to want to see a portfolio for your admission, so keep that in mind as well. All right. What about the School of Music, Theater, and Dance? Yes, which area? Okay, which area?
Music.
What area in music? Do you have an instrument? Do you have your voice? You play an instrument. What instrument do you play? Trumpet. Great. Okay. Saxophone. Okay, good. Anybody else music? Yes. What is it? Vocal. Fabulous. I have one of those in my house too. Well, she's at college now, but yeah. All right. Great. Okay, you guys down here. Hey, Monty, do you want to maybe have these guys go back to class? They don't want to be here. One's in the white shirts. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Music, theater, and dance. All right, those are all, they require auditions, and that is part of our process when we go through this. So you will apply to the University of Michigan for School of Music, Theater, and Dance, and then you will be granted an audition. So they will follow up with you and schedule a time for you to come to campus and actually audition. So that's part of the process, and then you'll find out a little later. So when is early action? November 1st, you guys got it. Okay, November 1st is really important. The majority of our in-state students apply early action. If you are a senior, there's really no reason for you to wait and apply later. and I'll talk about that in a few minutes, some of the specifics. But early action is really recommended for our in-state students specifically. So I would finish that application and get that in by November 1. Pretty important, all right? Music, theater, and dance does not participate in early action, and Taubman doesn't as well. So they have different deadlines, so just keep that in mind, December 1. Because of the audition portion being a little later, you find out your decision a little later. The only exception would be is if you decide to play dual. So if you're in a talent-based program such as music school, you can apply to, let's say, LS&A, Literature, Science, and the Arts, as well as our School of Music, Theater, and Dance. So you will be looked at for both. You will be admitted to both, admitted to one and not the other, or maybe denied to both. So it's separate decisions. So you will have that opportunity. You cannot apply to LS&A and engineering at the same time. Everybody asks that every year. That's not an option. You can't apply to engineering and kinesiology, right? Only a talent school, so art and design, architecture and urban planning, or the School of Music, Theater, and Dance with a combination of another school. You can try that, okay? So we will be looking at your application in different ways. I will see your applications just as Mrs. Front mentioned. So I will be evaluating your applications when you apply to the University of Michigan. So when you check that box, how many of you are interested in the Ross School of Business? It's usually pretty popular, okay? So there's a two-tier process with the Ross School. So let's say you're applying to Literature, Science, and the Arts during early action. By the end of January, you'll have your decision. Congratulations, welcome to the University of Michigan. You're admitted, right? Then your file will be shared with the Ross School of Business staff. Their admissions folks will look at you and evaluate your application for the Ross School of Business separately. There's a separate essay. They ask for an artifact, which could be a picture of a lawnmower. If you have a lawn mowing business, right? Mr. House, who many of you know, right? He used to do that. He had a landscaping business. Friends forever. I was in their wedding. So he had, if he were going to apply to Ross, he would probably have a picture of a lawnmower, and he could talk about how he started his business, right? But it could be anything. It doesn't need to be that. It can be anything that you're proud of in high school that you want to share. So take a photo of that and then explain it. That's the artifact portion. Ross will give you a little bit more details. Ross also has tours that you can take on Fridays, so you can register for those separate. How many of you have been on a tour at the University of Michigan? All right, great, yay, okay. How many of you are scheduled for one in the next couple months? All right, good, maybe I'll see you there if I'm in town. So we always love to have visitors. So we have a central campus tour that you can register for on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And then the Ross School has tours, engineering has tours, Taubman has some tours, the nursing school, kinesiology, so you'll need to contact those separate schools if you want a tour of their specific college or school and arrange for that. Try to make it the same day, and we'll work with you. If you get on the Ross tour and it conflicts with the central campus, just email me and we'll help you figure that out, okay? And make it work. So Ross, I want to share a little story. So my oldest daughter is a senior in college already, hard to believe. These guys remember when she was born. So, you know, one of her friends, when she applied to Michigan, she was very excited, and she said, you know, she grabbed me at dance one night when I was there, and she said, you know, Mrs. Bryant, I was admitted to LS&A, however, I was not admitted to the Ross School of Business, and I'm not sure what to do. I was admitted to another BBA program at another school that I really, really like, but I don't know, should I go there or should I go to Michigan? So this is not a question I can answer. I love Michigan, I work there, okay? But it's also about what you want and fit. So I said, you know, you need to ask yourself this question. Do you want a BBA? Which if you apply to Ross and they said no, you're not gonna be able to receive a BBA at the University of Michigan. That's how it works. One and done deal. You could get an MBA later, or you might minor, but no guarantees, right? But as far as a BBA, not in the cards, okay? So do you want a Michigan degree? You can major in anything at Michigan, LS&A, which you've already been admitted to, and you can still pursue business as a career. right? You don't have to major in anything specific in order to run a business. So she went back, asked herself, did some reflection, and she decided, I want that BBA. So she's also a senior at this other school, and she's doing great, all right? Really, really good fit for her. So you just need to ask yourself that question. So it might be a different answer than you and your best friend. You know, you could be in the same spot. One person decides, yep, I'm going to have, you know, a Michigan degree, and I'm going to major in LS&A, and I'm still going to pursue business eventually, maybe get an MBA down the road, where somebody else may say, nope, I want a BBA, so I have to go there. All right? The other thing that's new this year, how many of you are interested in computer science? Okay. See, that's pretty consistent with what we're seeing on campus. And we saw that it became so popular on campus that our faculty said we cannot accommodate all of our students when they start hitting junior year in college into the courses that we offer. So we're going to have to do something because we don't want to just turn them away and say you can't take our class. So what we're doing now is we're doing an advanced selection, which means if you're admitted to computer science as a major, whether you pursue engineering or LS&A, then as long as you do well with your classes, you are guaranteed a spot in the classes as your major in computer science when you start your junior year. So you can apply to engineering and select advanced selection, computer science, or you can apply to LS&A. So if you want a bachelor's degree in engineering, then you would apply to the engineering schools. If you want a bachelor's degree in liberal arts, you would apply to LS&A. So you determine that first, then you select that box. First, you would be admitted to either engineering or LS&A, and then you will be notified if you are offered one of the advanced selection spots for computer science. So much like the same way for Ross, if you're not admitted into computer science, and you know 100% this is what you want to do, then you may need to go somewhere else, because you can't do that at Michigan. You can do data science, you can do math, you can do all kinds of things, but computer science is not going to happen if you're not admitted as part of that advanced selection. Now, the only way it would happen is if you don't apply to computer science, and then you start in your sophomore year in college, you decide, oh, I think now I'm interested in computer science. They're going to have some space, not 500 like they're going to have out of high school, which is the most, but they'll have some. So it could happen, but no guarantees. So think hard about the computer science option. This is new for all of us this year, so we're going to see how it works. But we just don't want students to reach their junior year and not be able to have the classes that they need in order to pursue that major. Okay, so that's the reason the faculty came up with this idea. So that'll be new, all right? Fit, I'm going to do questions at the end, so remember if you guys have questions. Okay, thanks so much. Fit is really, really important, all right? My middle daughter, who I just left yesterday, and I'm not tearing up, I'm good. She starts class today. They're on trimesters. But when she went through this whole college process, there were no tours offered because it was during COVID. So we walked around the summer before her senior year in high school and checked out campuses. Some she crossed off her list, some she was super excited about. So she applied to her schools. She narrowed it down to 7 schools. And I want all of you to keep this in mind, that colleges are very selective. We are selective at Michigan. You heard the stats from here, right? But you are in the driver's seat, so keep it in perspective. You are being more selective. You are deciding which colleges you're applying to, right? So my daughter Lauren narrowed it down to 7 that she could see herself being a student at. So those 7 colleges she narrowed down once she received her admissions offers. Then she narrowed it down further to her top 3. She's like, okay, Mom, the one is one that we went to last summer. I really loved it. I can see myself there. Let's go back. We were fortunate that we had a family friend that was a student, so we got to see her residence hall. She took us in a bunch of buildings that we probably weren't allowed to see, but that worked out well for us, okay, during the pandemic. So Lauren got to see that. She loved it. We left there very excited. A couple weeks later, we went to the number 2 choice. I did not like it. Lauren, on the other hand, Mom, this is fabulous. I love this. I'm like, they don't have blue lights. Blue lights is a safety feature on campus that a lot of parents appreciate, right? We have those at Michigan. Most colleges do. All right, this college did not have blue lights. So that made me a little nervous. The architecture building, which she wants to pursue architecture, a little outdated, holes in some of the windows, just look kind of not taken care of. And I'm kind of like, you want to pursue this as a career. And they're not even taking care of their own buildings on campus. Very dated residence halls, no AC, just, I don't know, just not that nice, right? But she really liked it because it was different. So she said, okay, Mom, next weekend, you need to keep an open mind, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, because you're not going to leave your COVID kitten. That's too far away. She'll never pick that school. 20 minutes in, Mom, look, blue lights. 20 minutes, we're walking. She's like, Mom, I really like this school. Wasn't that surprised. A couple days later, we returned home. She bounced into my home office that day after she was done with school, and she said, how was your day? I don't know how many of you, but my kids do not ask me how my day was very often. I don't know if you ask your parents that. I said, it was great, Lauren, how was yours? She's like, it was so good. I couldn't stop thinking about it all day. I really made my decision. She was so excited, so excited. And she made the right decision. It's been the right fit. So today is her sophomore year, right? First day of class. She was so excited when I dropped her off and helped her with her apartment. She's really, really excited to be there and reconnect with all of her friends. So it's about fit. So you have that potential to build your own list and be excited. We love Michigan, right? But it's not the right fit for everyone. So you need to determine, is this the right fit for me? Is this where I want to spend the next 4 years? So ask yourself that question. Really, really important. What are we looking for in terms of applications? So when I see your application and it comes across my desk, what do you think the most important factor is going to be? GPA, exactly, grade point average. So we're going to look at GPA. Our average GPA that is on our materials once we get them in, right, on our website, 3.9. All right, don't panic on me. Average, okay? 25% have below, 25% have above. But what we do with the GPA is we take all the weight out. So we're going to look at 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. So those of you that are juniors, critical year, right? You need to push it, do the best you can, more A's than B's. We want to see that upward grade trend. We're going to look at all 3 of those years, every single class that you've taken, every class. And we're going to recalculate your GPA. My son loved this part when he heard I've told him this, but he heard it from the Michigan person, and then he's like, Mom, did you hear that? Yes, Michael, I've told you that. So he was excited because he understood that his A- that he received in his honors Algebra 2 class, Michigan looks at it as a 4.0, right? So he was like, wow, I have a 4.0 now. This is great. I was worried. I had 3.9. Okay, so you know what? We're going to look at that. All A's, A-, A+, A, 4 point. B, same thing. B+ is 3 points. We don't want to talk about the things below that. All right? So we'll factor your GPA. Let's say freshman year, you did get, that 1 grade, all right, that you're not that excited about. But since then, you have this great upward trajectory. I'm going to look at that. All right, it won't be held against you forever. You're going to look and see how you improved. So GPA is important. What's the second factor I'm going to look at? Test scores. Okay, we're going to look at test scores if you submit them. All right, so a couple new things. Michigan just started the last 2 years using super scoring. We had not super scored before. So if you've taken multiple SAT or ACT exams, you can self-report those. You don't have to have them officially sent yet. Self-report them on your common application. I don't want you to super score them. I want you to put the actual date and the sub-scores on your application. We have folks in our office that are in charge of that. They do the math. They'll super score and they'll come up with a score. So when I see your application, that super score will be on there for me to look at. All right? You also can decide, do I want to submit my test scores? We are test flexible, which is similar to test optional, So are my test scores a true reflection of my ability? My daughter Lauren, when she researched this, many schools were test optional at that time that she was applying to. So she looked at all their profiles online to kind of see where her SAT fell. And she determined that, you know what, mine fell either above or, right around where they're looking at, so I'm going to submit them. So she sent them to all 7 of her schools. But you'll make that decision based on what you scored, and if you feel it's a true reflection of your ability. If you don't, you do not need to report your ACT or SAT scores. If you have not, if you're waiting to see if you get a better score, you should still apply early action, and then those scores will come in. And we will add them to your application as we get them, okay? You can self-report those on your portal, which will be assigned once you submit an application. So do it as soon as you get the scores, send them in to us. We'll still accept scores into the middle of November to add to your file before I review it, if you indicate that you're retesting on your application, okay? So we'll look at that. So don't not submit your actual application because you're waiting on scores. Hit send, okay? Important to do that. So test scores, what's the third factor I'm going to look at? What? Oh, extracurriculars, no. Essays. There we go. Great job. All right. What's your first name? What is it? Prisha? Okay. Wearing the nice maize shirt. Thank you for wearing that today. You can be in the picture. All right. So, the rigor of your courses. So, I'm going to look at what types of classes that you have taken. Even if you took, a foreign language class, or you started your high school math curriculum when you were at Bolin, okay? I used to coach cheerleading over there, so great memories, Bolin Park Middle School. All right, so if you had taken those in middle school, then that's considered like an honors type course when I'm evaluating your application, because you took it before you entered into the Troy High building. All right, we're gonna look at how much curriculum you've had, honors, AP, IB stuff. We look at all of that. So we will look at increased rigor, senior year, 4 academics at least 4 academics. One of my oldest daughter's friends, she applied and she had 2 academics her senior year, not admitted to the University of Michigan. All right, it's great. Learning to Breathe, I'm sure it's a great class. Jewelry making, I'm sure that's fun too, but not considered an academic in terms of taking those courses that we want to see at the University of Michigan. You can take one of those other classes throughout, right? We'd like to see if you're, those of you in music, yeah, I want to see choir and band and marching band. You guys have a good marching band here. I've seen them. So, we don't want you to give up those things. Absolutely not. We want you to have a nice curriculum throughout your high school. So we like to see rigor, if you can take it. One of my daughter's friends, she was in her, I think it was her AP Lang class, and she was complaining how much she hated it. And my daughter's like, why are you taking this class? You clearly do not like this. She's an engineer, by the way, engineer major, senior at Michigan. And she said, well, my mom said I had to take it because colleges want to see that you've taken as many APs as possible. All right, not true. We want to see that you're taking rigor in courses that you're passionate about. You don't want to just take a class because you think that's what a college wants to see. What areas are you excited about? That's what you should pursue. All right, she didn't need to take that AP Lang class in order to be competitive for the College of Engineering. Luckily, she had some of the other ones as well. But that's important. So when you're doing your schedules, juniors, for next year, keep that in mind as you go through that. Oh, thanks. All right. So, GPA, test scores, curriculum. What else am I looking for? You guys said it. Essays. I'm going to talk about that last. It's my favorite. All right. Extracurricular activities. Thank you. All right. Leadership. We are the leaders and best, right? We love to see that. All right. So we want to see that you're doing well. and that you are also engaged outside of the classroom. Very, very important. How many of you have leadership positions? All right. How many of you work? Part-time job. Does anybody work at Somerset? Yes? Where do you work? Hollister? Oh, yay. I've been in that store. Great. All right. Not for me, but for my kids. Okay. Anybody else work at Somerset? Yeah. North Bay? Oh, I've been in, yeah, my son got his new jacket there last year. All right. Okay, so write down where you guys work. Let me tell you, I love Michigan. You might have been able to notice that already a little bit. But I love surprising students. So years ago when I lived over here, I had a student that worked at Hollywood Market. And so I went in after work one day and I asked if he was working and they said, oh, he's not here until Friday. So Friday I went in right after work and I asked for him and he came out and I said, hi, Stephen, do you know who I am? And he said, you look really familiar. And I said, well, I'm your admissions person from Michigan. Congratulations, you've just been admitted. And he was so excited. And then I was telling the story and somebody said they worked at Limited Express, which was in Somerset at the time. So I went in there and this young lady literally was on a ladder. They were doing some display stuff. And I walked in and said her name and she got so excited. So I held the ladder for her. She came down, she went and called her mom. I once drove through a Burger King drive-thru and told a student that they were admitted. That was really fun. So, hey, I am like all about that. I love to visit you guys at work. I went to Chick-fil-A, gosh, I think it was a couple years, right before COVID, and there was a student from here that was admitted to our nursing school, a really, really neat young man, did a great job in his application, and I just really wanted to go and meet him in person, and could tell he was going to be an amazing nurse, and unfortunately, he had quit the week prior, so I didn't get to meet him, and I even had a shirt for him and everything. A couple years ago, I had 6 students from here that all came up to me after and they said, we all work at Leo's Coney Island, so can you come and tell us? And I thought, oh, this is going to be so fun. I'm going to bring pom-poms. I'm going to make this really fun for them. So I was really excited to plan all this. Unfortunately, 5 of them were admitted, and so I couldn't do it to that other one. So I didn't go to Leo's, but let me know where you work because you never know. I always need an excuse to come back over here because I love Somerset. I love all the restaurants and places over here because I lived here for so long. I really miss it, so I do come over quite frequently. So let me know where you guys are working, all right? And I might show up and surprise you, a T-shirt or something. So I love it in Michigan. So I want you guys to be excited too. With early action, we have changed around a little bit. We used to let our students know around the holidays in December. Now it's the end of January when we tend to send out our notifications. So it's a little longer, but if I can get over here then, have some money left after the holiday spending, I might show up. So let me know, all right? So leaders and best, being involved in activities is really great. Building that resume, all right, so you can do that when you're at college as well. To get involved. We have over 1,600 clubs and organizations at Michigan, and you're going to find things to get involved with and pursue and build that resume, so when you graduate, that opens a door for grad school or jobs. And that's really good if you know how to do that now and can balance activities and your grades and everything with doing amazing things in the community, volunteer, community service, things outside of school. We look for all of that. So this is a time to brag when you're filling out your college application, so do that on your list. Okay, and let me know what you're involved with. So one thing I want to talk about, somebody has not said this yet. What's another, besides the essays, what is the other factor that we're missing? Rec letters, great. Okay, recommendation letters. I love recommendation letters. All right, so you need one teacher recommendation. Just one teacher rec, please. Because I read thousands of applications, so I don't want to read 4 recommendation letters for one student. I want to read one from a teacher, all right, the teacher who knows you best. So when my oldest daughter was a sophomore, she would come home at night and we'd be at the dinner table and she would talk about this teacher constantly. Senora this, senora that, love this woman. So I had not met her yet, so parent-teacher conferences rolled around, and I'm in line, and it was in the commons area, which is a big open area, kind of like when you come in through the school here. And they have tables set up, and parents sit down and speak with the teachers, right? So I get in line, there's a ton of people around. I sit down in front of this woman. I'm excited to meet her because I hadn't met her yet. And I said, "Hi, I'm Brittany Bryant's mom." She grabbed my hands and literally screamed, so everyone in the comments heard, "I love your daughter." And I thought, oh wow, I was a little embarrassed, but the thing that first popped in my head was, wow, maybe she can write her recommendation letter. Okay, that's my admissions head at work. So fast forward 2 years, guess who wrote Brittany's recommendation letter? Yes, Senor Akins did. She did an amazing job because she even sent it to her, which most of them don't do that, okay? I think all of you should ask Mr. House to write yours. No, don't tell him I said that. Okay, so you find a teacher that knows you best, a teacher that you connect with. You know, my daughter actually really cared about this lady a lot and really respected her, and it was mutual. So there are teachers out there, and there's some great teachers here at Troy High that I've met over the years, and they can really showcase you in a really positive light. So find them. So my son, who's a junior, right? Junior year teachers are probably the best ones to write your recommendation letter because they've seen you right before your senior year. Senior year, if this is the first year that you've had a teacher, they've only known you for a short time, so it's kind of hard for them to comment and talk about you because they haven't had you for the whole year. Junior year teachers just had you in your most recent year. So that's probably the best year to really focus on your junior year. So my son, Michael, who's a junior, I 100% support him asking his 10th grade honors English teacher to write his recommendation letter. Why would that be when I just told you junior year is preferred? Yes. She knows him outside the classroom. All right, that's probably true. Nope, he did not have her sophomore year as a teacher, but I'm going to go with this lady's comment. So usually it takes a while, so you got it right away. So in 8th grade, when Michael was in middle school, Miss Venema was the debate coach for middle school and high school. Michael loves debate. He's a debater. Okay, if any of you guys, anybody do debate? Okay, we might see you guys. Some debate. I'm a judge too, so you never know. All right, I might judge you there. So, she was his debate coach in 8th grade, so she met him then, and he was an 8th grader. He continues to do debate all the way through because he loves it. So he'll be doing it senior year. So she spent some Saturdays with him. She's at debate practice with him. She can talk about how he did in her honors class and as a writer, which he really loves, one of his favorite subjects. So she can talk about that, how he is in the classroom, but also how he is outside the classroom. And she'll know him all the way until senior year. So a great teacher. So if you have a teacher like that, that is a coach or an advisor to a club, and you might not have them junior year, that's okay. If you had them sophomore year, they can comment on your abilities and things that you do outside. So those are the best teachers to ask for a teacher recommendation. The first year when we started requiring a teacher recommendation letter, I was summoned here, okay, to meet with the entire English department because they said all the teachers think that we have to write their rec letters. You do not need to have your English department write your rec letters unless that teacher is like Miss Venema, okay, to you. We're not grading the recommendation letter on how well it's written. You know, and I know the English teachers probably do a great job, right? But there's other teachers that also can do a great job. So it's not graded on that. So don't everybody go to their English teachers, all right? So, recommendations. The last factor that I want to talk about is my favorite part of the application, the essays. All right, who's a little stressed about their essay? Yep, okay. Let me help you bring this down. All right, wait, raise your hands again. Okay, what's your name back here? Yep. Sam? Okay, Michigan shirt. Rin. Okay, so Rin's walking down the hallway. All right, she has her essay. in her backpack. She didn't put her name on it though. It slips out of her backpack. Sam's walking down the hall. She picks up the essay. Rin, I found your essay. Understand? It's in her voice. Her essay, her words. We don't do interviews at Michigan. Your essay is your voice. This is the way for me to get to know you. What do you want me to know about you? Lauren, my daughter, asked Mom, I have 3 ideas for my essays. Should I do 1, 2, or 3? I said, which one speaks to you? Which one are you most excited about? Number 3. Then you pick 3. I could have easily said number 3, because that was my choice too. But I let her pick. And she knew which one spoke to her. So, the Common App we are exclusive Common App this year, 7 prompts. Pick one that speaks to you. The 7th one is open. Don't send me a term paper. Please don't do that. All right, this needs to be a college essay. So pick one of those, and you need to rate your strengths. My oldest daughter, one of her closest friends, who was a year older than her, when she was applying to colleges, her mom said, can you read her essay and let me know your thoughts? So she sent it to me. My head was spinning. This essay was everywhere. There was no focus. Remember when you guys were like in 1st grade and you like talk about a simple moment? You know, that's how you start writing skills, right? Think of one thing and then expand from there. Okay, this was just everywhere. It was crazy. I couldn't follow it. It was a mess. So I called Amanda and I said, Amanda, your essay is like all over the place. I don't understand what the focus is. This is really a mess. She goes, well, my mom had 5 of her friends help edit it. Okay, so it's the voice of 5 50-year-olds. That's a lot different than a 17-year-old writing their own college essay. I know that, right? So I want it to be one voice, not all over the place. I want it to be your voice. Just tell me who you are, really what's important to you. You can't go wrong in most cases, right? So really take some time and think about, what do I want colleges to know about me, right? What is something that's not reflective on my application? Don't relist all your activities, but it's okay if there's an activity that's really important to you to talk about that. Tell me a story. I love stories. Love stories so much. Our other essay that is exclusive to Michigan is Why Michigan? I don't want to hear how many times you've been to the big house. All right, that's great. I've been there too. All right, but I don't want to hear that you were born with a Michigan onesie. Some people send pictures, not necessary. Okay, so when Brittany was applying to school, her best friend was over and she was reading one of her essays and she had up on her laptop and she said, wow, Brittany, I had no idea that you wanted to go to this school so badly. Like, this is great. And she said, well, actually, it's toward the bottom of my list. But I wouldn't be applying if I didn't want to go, because I'm not going to waste my parents' money or time applying to a college I have no interest in. So yes, I want to go there. So I pulled out, why do I want to go there? When I toured, I wrote down all the things I loved about it. When I met with the admissions person, I wrote down all the things that she was talking about in our presentation. So things in there I really loved, and why I can picture myself at that campus is what she put into there. She was admitted. Did she enroll there? No, but she was admitted. If she wasn't admitted to the other schools on her list higher up, she would have enrolled there and would have been happy there. And I would have had the best Thai food I've ever had, because I wanted those girls to go to that campus, both of them, right? Didn't pick it. All right, but still a great school, all right? So you want to think about that in terms of why Michigan. Many of you have been on the tours, right? What did you gain from the tour? What are some things that the tour guide said that was really exciting? Or if you went to the admissions session or heard me today, what are some things that you really loved about the University of Michigan that you can picture yourself there? That's what I want to hear about why Michigan. Don't write things from the website, because this professor teaches this class. No, I can look that up myself too. I want to know why you want to go there. That's what's important to me. My favorite essay is the community essay by far. Community. So, a couple of you over here. I haven't time over here. Okay. What community are you guys in? Yes. Okay. Romanian Orthodox Church. All right. Who are your people? What things are important to you? community-wise? Anybody else? Yes. What is it? Feeding America? Indian America. Okay. All right. Over here. Anybody? Yes.
My robotics team.
Robotics team. Great. Perfect. All right. Who else? Yes. Ren. Your family? Okay. Good. All right. So let me tell you a story about a young lady that came over to my house. This was years ago. I was friends with her family. And she was a dancer at the dance studio where my kids all danced. All right, so her community essay said that, you know, she was part of the dance community. She was at the studio 6 out of the 7 days a week, very committed, right? So loved being part of that community. She talked how she was a role model there, and that was pretty much it. So I was really bored with her essay. Now, she's a very vibrant young lady, so boring is not what comes to my mind when I think of her. So I said, okay, we need this to come alive. This essay is boring. All right, so I want you to tell me, dance is your community, so you're a dancer. So I said, what were you doing in December, that first weekend last year? She's like, oh, I was in the Nutcracker Ballet. Yes, you were. Okay, and who were you in the Nutcracker production? I was Clara. Pivotal role. I said, I want you to think about when you were backstage, before you started on stage, what was going through your mind? And then at the end of the performance, when you lifted the Nutcracker over your head to signify the closing of the performance, what was going through your mind then? So she was getting really excited. She was writing all this down. I said, you said that you're a role model. I saw all the little children gathering around you. Clara, Clara, right? You were so kind to them. I said, you also wrote a letter. My daughter was in 8th grade at the time, and she was a recipient of one of your letters. And you told her you loved watching her on stage, and she lit up the stage, and that one day she too would be Clara. That meant the world to her, and that meant the world to me as a parent. Fast forward, she doesn't know this, but when I was cleaning out Brittany's room when she left for college, guess what I found in that nightstand? That letter. So if any of you have written a letter to a younger student, or you have not done that yet, do it. Because it's going to mean so much to them. If you see somebody in your robotics team that's doing a really good job, write them a little note. All right? That's going to mean a lot and encourage them. This told me who this young lady was. I said, you know, you want to be a teacher, right? She said, I do. That's what I want to go into in college. Okay, you already teach the 5-year-olds ballet Saturday morning before your class. You didn't talk about that. You need to mention that in your essay. So she went home, she reworked her essay. The next day she sent it to me, it wowed me. I didn't have to be at that performance. I knew she was a dancer and that was her community, and she was passionate about her community. You all have that in your communities. So think about what you're passionate about, and you can write about that. Brittany, or Lauren's, one of her best friends, she's at Michigan. She wrote about being in the 2% Club. Let's see, is anybody here in the 2% Club? Maybe, the lights are a little off. Maybe this young lady over here. But it's the Redhead Club. Okay, 2% of people have red hair. She talked about that and bringing that to the University of Michigan, and how she wanted to acknowledge other redheads on the street, but she also wanted to meet people with brown hair and purple hair and no hair. And she was excited to branch out. And it was a great, fun, lighthearted essay that showed a different side of her than her other Common App essay. So think about that. You can do that. You can add some humor, right? My daughter Lauren, brachydactyly type D. Does anybody know what that is? It's like a short thumb thing. Okay, she discovered this, and she starts off her essay talking about Megan Fox, some other famous people. They have this, and she discovered she had it. Her attention to detail is really important to her, and that's why she wants to pursue architecture, and she thinks she'll be successful because attention to detail as an architect is key. She was admitted to all of her schools. All right, great job on those essays. Something fun and lighthearted that she added, right? That nobody probably has that's applying. So think about that. So those are the components that we are looking at when I'm looking at your application. So don't be stressed out about the essays, please. Just finish them. It's your work, okay? Don't be stressed out. If you want, I'm going to offer this. If you'd like to submit the draft to me, I'm happy to look over it for you and give you some feedback. I'll only do that for about 2 more weeks, and then once I start reading applications for real, I have to stop because I'm reading them for real. But if you want to send me something, I will look through that in the next couple days and send you messages back. I've had about 25 students take me up on this so far, and I've been talking about this for the last week or so, so it's I probably have more in my inbox today. But it's really fun. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy giving you some feedback. So feel free to do that. My email address is oh, go ahead and get something out so you can write down, sorry. All right, it's kjbryant@umich.edu. kjbryant@umich.edu. And if you didn't have a chance to write it down, you can search my counselor on our website, on the admissions website where it says explore and visit. Find my counselor, put in Oakland County, put in Troy High, and it'll pop up for you. All right? So I'm really excited to start reading your applications again this year. I always love meeting with you guys and really getting to know you and really seeing everything that you put into your applications. It's a lot of work, and I want to let you know I appreciate everything that you've done to put into that essay and into your accomplishments and everything that you've done with your transcripts. So I take a lot of pride in reviewing the applications and letting you know your decisions. So you have until May 1 in order to accept that offer, so keep that in mind as well. So thank you so much, and go Blue. Anybody with Michigan or Michigan colors, come on up and we'll get a picture. Go Blue. Thank you.
Now let's give Ms. Bryant a big round of applause. Thank you so much for being here, Ms. Bryant.